As we welcome you back here to Harmon Park as we are getting set for game number 2 between the Pierre Governors and the Washington Warriors. Washington just about to take the field. We are just about set for this second game, just past 4 o'clock, as the Pierre Governors are going to be looking for a split after dropping the first one 24-13. As we go through the starting lineups, first for the visiting Pierre Governors, it will be Lincoln Keenels that will be on the mound he will be the shortstop. He will not be the starting pitcher, but he will be the starting shortstop and the leadoff man in the order. Matthew Hanson will bat second and play second. Gary Nedved, the first baseman, batting third. Jet Zabel, the right fielder, will bat cleanup. Grayson Hunsley, the catcher, batting fifth. Matthew Brewer, the DH, will bat sixth. Kate Kaiser, the third baseman, batting seventh. George Stalley, the left fielder, will bat eighth. And Brecken Kruger, the center fielder, will bat ninth for Pierre. Jackson Edmond will be the man on the mound to start for the Pierre Governors. The Washington Warriors, they will have Carter Dosher on the mound to begin this game number 2. As they will, let's see here, trying to make sure that we get to his numbers. I believe he has thrown late. He threw on a Thursday, actually, through 32 pitches. He is available to pitch today. He threw an inning and a third with 2 hits, 1 run. It was earned, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts for Dosher on the mound in that game against Roosevelt on Thursday. As Washington ends a quick 2-game skid here this week, losing Tuesday to Mitchell, Thursday to Roosevelt, now winning the first game here, the doubleheader against the Pierre Governors. And Pierre is trying to end a 6-game losing streak, now at 3-6 on the year. And Jackson Edmond on the mound will be looking to get that job done to help out this Pierre Governor team, who is in search of some starting pitching, some good pitching. Just hasn't been able to have that as of late. And the Governors falling in game 1, 24-13. They lost 13-1 in game 1 yesterday against Lincoln, at 10-9 in game number 2. They had their best offensive output in the 13 runs that they scored in that first game. And they need a good defensive and pitching effort here in game number 2, and the same offensive output to give themselves a split here and to finish out this weekend at 1-3, but also end the 6-game losing streak before heading home for the first time in 2022. Here's Lincoln Keenels to lead things off. He reached base all 4 times, including going 1 for 2 with a 3-run homer. That gave the Governors a 5-2 lead in that top of the second. The first pitch is over for strike 1 from Dosher, and we are underway here at 4:05. Second game, first game got started about 1:25 as Keenels goes the other way, diving grab, it drops, and then Keenels falls down and tagging out at first base. And I don't know if Keenels does get up. He's a little slow to get moving, but he seems to be okay. And that play had just about everything wild happen on it, because the throw from the second baseman Muck out to Fitzsimmons at first was a wide one that Simmons was off the bag, and then he dove back with and put the glove on the bag to put the make sure that Keenels is out, but Keenels never got back up in time. Obviously, Fitzsimmons did not know that. And a wild first play of this ball game results in a 4-3 ground out. In the book, it just looks like a routine ground out. And it was almost caught by the second baseman on the diving attempt. Muck out. Counts 2-0 to Matt Hanson. That was wild. 2-0 pitch outside, and it's now 3-0 to Matt Hanson. He went 1 for 4 in game number 1. He singled and scored in the top of the 5th inning. And the Governors needed to score 6 times. They scored just 4 times in that 5th inning. There's a 4-pitch walk to Matt Hanson, the first base runner of the ball game for the Governors. And it brings up Gary Nedved with 1 on and 1 out. So Aidan Doyle's out in left field. Bryson Top is in center. Wesley Stroh in right. Bryce Ronkin at third. Miles Reese at short. It is the second baseman, Jacob Muckow. The first baseman in Tristan Fitzsimmons. As behind the plates is Braden Olson. As Dosher delivers ball 1 to Gary Nedved. 1-0 pitch is popped up on the infield. This one's going to be a tough play. Goes out into the outfield, and the center field drops in for a base hit. And it's going to be first and second with 1 out. And it brings up Jet Zabel, the right fielder. That ball, it looked like it was popped up to the second baseman, but it just kept drifting out, and it landed in front of the center fielder and top for a base hit. So that's the first hit of the ball game for the Pierre Governors, and it brings up Jet Zabel, who went 1 for 2 in game number 1. First pitch is upstairs for ball 1. He doubled home a run in the top of the 5th inning. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one is upstairs, and it's quickly 2-0 here to Zabel. So Pierre's got something moving here in the top of the 1st inning. They have scored in every inning so far in this game, and in the doubleheader, obviously, the top of the 1st in game number 2. That one's chopped at the plate. It'll be rolling foul, and it will now go to 2-1. And Zabel had to make sure that he stayed away from hitting that ball, because once he leaves the box, if it hits him, he's out. So he's aware of where that ball was at to avoid it, and ends up going foul anyway, but the count is now 2-1. 1 out, top of the 1st. Runners at 1st and 2nd here in game 2. Here's a 2-1 pitch from Dosher to Zabel. Goes the other way, left side, that's through past the diving Reese at short, rounding 3rd, and coming in to score is going to be Hanson, and an RBI single for Jet Zabel, and the Governors lead at 1-0 here in the top of the 1st inning, and they are back on top again, just like they were in the top of the 1st in game number 1. And it brings up Grayson Hunsley, and Hunsley, the catcher here, and once again, Stolly got a opportunity to catch in the last couple innings of game number 1, but he's out in left field in game number 2, getting the start after he went 2 for 3 in that game. First pitch is upstairs for ball 1 to Hunsley. Hunsley did go 1 for 1 with an RBI single in that top of the 1st inning. That gave the Governors a 2-0 lead at the time. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's also upstairs, and the count's now 2-0. Nedved leads away from 2nd. Zabel on at 1st. Governors looking to add to their 1-0 lead here in the top of the 1st. 2-0 pitch upstairs. It is now 3-0. On deck is going to be Matthew Brewer, the DH. Be followed by Cade Kaiser, George Stolley, and Brecken Kruger. That wind still howling across. Here's the 3-0 pitch from Dosher to Hunsley. Instead, he steps off. And we'll do it again here at 3-0. And thankfully for the, again, being here in Sioux Falls, that the temperature is still at a good spot, as there's a 4-pitch walk to Hunsley, and the bases are now loaded for Matthew Brewer with 1 out. 74 degrees here at first pitch. The high wind warning that's still in effect for Minnehaha County. The wind is northeast at 32 miles an hour. Feels like 74. And that's 32 at just the regular wind speed. So now here is Matthew Brewer. Swings and misses at the first pitch. Bases are loaded with 1 out here in the top of the 1st inning. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Brewer. That one is taken for strike 2. And it's quickly 0-2 now to the Governor DH. Cade Kaiser is on deck for the Governors. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Bounces in, gets to the backstop. Run will come in to score. Nedved will make it a 2-0 game for the Governors, and it's still 2nd and 3rd with a count now at 1-2. And Pierre has opened it back up to a 2-0 lead, but they still got two guys in scoring position. So for the Governors, you had a 2-0 lead in the top of the first, and obviously the game didn't go so well in game number one. You want to add to it here. Burr climbs the ladder on a 2-strike pitch, is able to foul it back to stay live at 1-2. Burr was going to hit. He came into pitch in the fourth inning. He was on deck. Would have been the ninth man to come to the plate in that fifth inning, but was unable to. He takes that 1-2 pitch upstairs and inside. The count's now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here is the 2-2 now from Dosher to Burr. That's outside, and it's now 3-2. And Matthew Burr down 0-2 in the count, now to 3-2. Here's the payoff pitch. Burr will launch that out to left field and gets out of play. Way ahead of that off-speed pitch from Dosher, and it remains at a full count, 3-2. Here's the 3-2 pitch. And Burr gets a piece of it. Left side, underneath the glove. 2 runs are going to come in to score. It's going to be an air charge to Reese, the shortstop. Burr is on, 2 runs scored. The Governors open up a 4-0 lead here at the top of the first inning. 1 run was going to score regardless. Zabel was going to come in, whether or not that he was going to actually, whether it was actually going to be a play. And both runs come in to score on the air charge to Reese. The 1 RBI credit to Matthew Burr. And the first pitch to Cade Kaiser is inside for ball 1. So a 4-0 advantage for the Governors here in the top of the first. And a good start. It was a good start in the top of the first in game number 1. That good start has to be reciprocated on the other side, on the pitching and defensive side for the Governors. The 1-0 pitch is upstairs and is now 2-0. The left fielder, George Stalley, is on deck. Burr has made this a 4-0 game. Here's a 2-0. That one just missing on the outside corner, and it's now 3-0. The count at 3-0 here to Cade Kaiser. See if he takes it all the way. 3-0 pitch. He is taking it all the way, and that one will catch the outside edge, and it's now 3-1. Still good hitters count here for Kaiser. The runner on first and 1 down. Here's a 3-1. Kaiser will sky it out to center field. The wind's going to continue to carry that one all the way back out towards the wall, and it will roll up against the wall. Rounding second, heading for third is Kaiser. Brewer's going to come in to score. They're going to try and wave in Kaiser. He's going to score an inside the park home run. And the Governors lead at 6-0. And so for Cade Kaiser, the throw coming in, of course that wind picks it up, and whether it was caught cleanly by the shortstop Reese or not wasn't going to matter. And Cade Kaiser's got an inside the park home run, and the Governors now lead at 6-0. And George Stalley now to the plate. With now nobody on base. And a really good start here for the Governors in the top of the first inning. And again, this all then now goes back to you have to have a 0 on the board in the bottom of the first inning. Jackson Edmond, who might want to throw a little bit too, has been the 8th man to come to the plate. As Stalley will foul the first pitch out of play. Stalley went 2 for 3 in game number 1 with 2 doubles and 3 RBIs. And when you come off the bench, get 2 for 3 with 2 doubles, you are going to get a start in game number 2. There's a swing and a miss by Stalley, and the count's now 0-2. He's not afraid to swing the bat. The speedster, George Stalley. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That one's outside, and it's now 1-2. Brecken Kruger is on deck, and then we get back to the top of the order. This inning started with Keenels lining a shot to the second baseman, who dove had got the glove on it, didn't make the catch cleanly, but Keenels tripped and fell on his way to first, which resulted in the first out. And since then, the Governors have had the next 6 guys reach base with all 6 of them scoring. Here's a 2-2 pitch now to Stolle. That one's fouled back. He stays alive. We'll do it again at 2-2. And then once Brecken Kruger. And, of course, the Governors will have all 9 guys come to the plate with only 1 out and the 8th man to the plate with nobody on base. That one's outside, and it's now 3-2. So for the Governors, some offense here in the first inning. That's the 6th inning in a row that they have scored in this doubleheader. There's a swing and a miss by Stolle. He is down on strikes. 2 down, and it brings up the number 9 hitter, Brecken Kruger. The center fielder went 1 for 3 with a single in game number 1. You date back to the game yesterday, the Governors have scored in the last 9 innings in a row. There's a strike taken by Kruger. And it's 0-1. Landon Badger coaching third, Ryan Kruger at first for the Pierre Governors. That one's on the top of the zone and the outside corner of that top of the zone, and it's taken for a strike, and it's now 0-2. And now Kruger has to battle up, down 2 strikes in the count. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Dosher. There's a ground ball to the left side. Backing up off the glove of the third baseman and Ronkin. It will lead to the inning to continue. And the second error of the inning from the Washington Warriors. And now here's Lincoln Keenels back to the plate. By the book definition, grounded out to the second baseman in his first trip to the plate. Only so much that the book can tell you about what happened in that first play. Here's the first pitch to Keenels. He swings and misses for strike 1. And a pitch in the dirt, good off-speed pitch from Dosher. I mentioned it earlier, Doyle's out in left, top and center, Stroh in right, Ronkin at third, Reese at short, Buckow at second, Fitzsimmons at first, Olsen behind the plate, and now an 0-2 count to work with for Carter Dosher, the starting pitcher for the Washington Warriors. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Bounces in, gets away from the catcher. To second is Kruger. He is in scoring position with the count at 1-2. And a base hit from Keenels can make this a touchdown and extra point lead here at the top of the first. A couple of guys got to get their hats back on. Well, there's a 1-2 count. Dosher comes set from the stretch. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Keenels will take outside, and the count's even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Governors had 11 hits in game number 1, scored 13 times, but still lost in a 10-run rule. There's a ground ball left side, backhanded by the third baseman Ronkin. The throw across the diamond is in time, and Keenels is retired twice in the inning to end the first inning. But the Pierre Governors do score 6 times on 3 hits, 2 errors, and 1 man left on base. We head to the bottom of the first, and Pierre leads Washington 6-0. You're listening to Pierre Governor Baseball on KCCR and watching on YouTube at KCCR Sports.
Hey, yo, Speedo's Lawn Care.
Hello. Say, my yard's in rough shape. It's got weeds, brown spots, and crabgrass.
Yeah, no problemo. What shade of green you need? We got 31 shades of green over here. Even the latest shade of septic tank grass green. That one just naturally gives off a glow.
Call the professionals at True Green. They know how to get your lawn healthy and keep it healthy. They guarantee it. All technicians are trained and certified. Call True Green, 882-0643.
Hey you. Are you at a job that is fulfilling, has good benefits to support you or a family today, and retirement goes down the road? If you just said no, listen up. CHS River Plains is hiring operations personnel, drivers, and custom applicators at several locations. These come with a knockout affordable benefit package for you and the whole family. Apply to a job with CHS River Plains and up your benefits straight up. To apply, visit us online at chsriverplains.com or stop in at one of our locations. CHS is an equal opportunity employer.
So as we head here, the bottom of the first inning, the Pierre Governors lead at 6-0. Jackson Edmond is on the mound, and he will deal with the Washington Warrior lineup that looks like this. Braden Olson, the catcher, will lead things off. He'll be followed by Bryce Ronkin, the third baseman, batting second. Tristan Fitzsimmons, the first baseman, will bat third. Andrew Glovich, the DH, batting fourth. Miles Reese, the shortstop, batting fifth. Jacob Muckow, the second baseman, batting sixth. Aidan Doyle, the left fielder, batting seventh. Bryson Top, the center fielder, batting eighth. And Wesley Stroh, the right fielder, will bat ninth for the Washington Warriors. Jackson Edmond, the big, tall left-hander, gets the opportunity to start here. This will be, for Edmond, his first start on his third appearance. 4 innings so far. He is 0-1 on the season, 4 hits, 6 runs, 3 of them earned. 6 walks, 4 strikeouts, a 5.25 ERA, and a 2.5 whip. Edmond fields the first ball put into play, and he throws it high over the head of Gary Nedved, and an early error in the first inning, which will allow the runner to get to third base in Braden Olson. And not the start that the Governors were hoping for in this bottom of the first. It was a chopper that was to the third base line for Jackson Edmond, who picked it up and fired it just too high over Gary Nedved. And Braden Olson went from first all the way over to third on the opening leadoff error. And it's Bryce Ronkin, the third baseman, with an early RBI opportunity. And the first pitch is over for strike one. So as quickly as the Governors went up 6-0, now an early RBI opportunity for the Washington Warriors. The runner on third and nobody out here in the bottom of the first inning. A swing and a miss by Bryce Ronkin. The count is now 0-2 to the Warrior third baseman. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That one will miss low and outside, and it's now 1-2. Scored 6 runs on 3 hits to the Governors. They were helped out with 2 errors in the inning by the Warriors in that top of the first. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Comes high and inside, and it's now 2-2. Jackson Edmond last summer here during the Dakota Classic came in for Post State and had a fantastic outing. There's a check swing, and going around was Ronkin. As he swings and misses, there's a strikeout, and there's one down here in the bottom of the first inning, and the first strikeout for Jackson Edmond. And brings up Tristan Fitzsimmons. And Post State played exceptional in that Dakota Classic. And Edmond had a strong game in that Dakota Classic. I believe it was beating Norfolk, Nebraska. There's a swing and a miss. Here to Tristan Fitzsimmons. Runner on third and one down here in the bottom of the first. A 1 pitch. Just a bit upstairs, maybe a little outside, and it's now 1-1. Edmond went 5 2/3 innings against Norfolk, Nebraska. Gave up 9 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Andy Gordon came in for the save, throwing the last inning and a third. That was Jackson Edmond's best outing. Might have been the only time that he really threw for the Senior Legion. And he came back from Florida, landed in Sioux Falls, and joined Post State for that game to throw, help out the pitching arms. There's a swing and a miss, and it's now 2-2. And it happened here on this field at Harmon 1, part of that Dakota Classic. 2-2 is the count here to Tristan Fitzsimmons. Edmond comes set from the stretch, 2-2 pitch. Taken on the outside edge for strike 3, and back-to-back strikeouts from Edmond. And there's now 2 down. And on the leadoff there, still at third base, is strikeout swinging, strikeout looking, and Andrew Glovich now the plate. And for Washington, trying to drive in that first run. Glovich, the DH, here in this ball game. Went on base all 5 times. First pitch is over for strike 1. Glovich went 2 for 2 2 singles, 2 RBIs, and 3 walks, and scored all 5 times that he reached base. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That one's fouled down the third base line. It's now 0-2. And Edmonds way ahead in the count. And we'll see what he throws here on the 0-2 count. Runner on third with 2 away here in the bottom of the first. Edmund peers in for the sign. He'll come set and deliver the 0-2 pitch. Upstairs, not a bad spot there for Edmund, trying to get Glovich to climb the ladder and chase it for a swing and a miss, but it's now 1-2, still ahead in the count. Here's a 1-2. Just a bit outside, and a good take there from Glovich. Usley tried to frame it on the outside edge. Unable to, and the count is even now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. There are 2 really good takes from Glovich. Here's now the 2-2 pitch. That one's popped up right side. The long run is able underneath it, and he's able to make the catch. An adventure to make that grab. He came storming in, stopped, and then reached back to make the catch. And that will retire the side, and the Governors get a big 0. No runs, no hits, 1 error left on at third base. After 1 full inning, the Pierre Governors have a 6-0 lead over the Washington Warriors. Back in a minute, you're listening to Pierre Governor Baseball on KCCR and on YouTube at KCCR Sports.
Did you ever hear the real story about the old woman who lived in a shoe? Who had so many children she didn't know what to do? Well, in this story, she wasn't given much credit. Believe me, she knew what to do, all right. She called my mom, Tara, at Kathy Sunshine Properties. She told my mom she wanted a house with 5 bedrooms and a large yard with room to run. Tara found her the perfect house and sold the shoe to a one-legged basketball player.
For your happily ever after, give me a call at Kathy Sunshine Properties, 605-224-5588. That's 224-5588. Visit contactkathy.com or stop by our new location at 301 West Capitol Avenue in Pierre.
As we head to the top of the second, the Pierre Governors lead it 6-0. And for Jackson Edmond, that's a good start in that first inning. Even though he was the one that gets charged for the error on the throw, he came back, got a strikeout looking, strikeout swinging, and then got the pop out to finish out the inning. And that's big for the Governors in general, because a lot of these innings, start with an error. Well, that turns into multiple runs being scored. And for Edmond, that could have easily been, there's an error. Now runs are going to score. We're up 6-0. Now it's not going to be a 6-0 game. But he bared down and got the couple strikeouts, and that can lead this Governor team into getting some confidence, adding to it here in the top of the second. But just you got to start somewhere, and Edmond did a fantastic job in that first inning to get the 0 that they needed. I mean, that was, it's a 6-0, but to be even at 6-1, it doesn't feel as good as what 6-0 is right now in terms of what the Governors have had in the last 6 games. So that's a huge 0 to get, and now the Governors can have an opportunity to build on it here in the top of the second as they have 2, 3, and 4 after having 10 guys come to the plate in the first inning. So Matthew Hanson, who walked and came around to score. Those 6 guys, 2 through 7, and Hanson will bunt the first pitch back to the mound, and it's retired as Dozier is able to get it back over to the first baseman, and 1 pitch and 1 out here at the top of the second. And it'll bring up Gary Nedved, but 2 through 7 in that first inning, all reached base and all came around to score, capped off by an inside the park home run from Cade Kaiser, who hit it out to the 410 mark out in center field. Here's the first pitch to Gary Nedved. He swings and pops that one up. That's on the infield. This will be an adventure as well. And the first baseman will make the catch in Fitzsimmons. And 2 pitches and 2 outs here in the top of the second. And we'll bring up Jet Zabel, who had the RBI single that got the Governors on the board. And it's a 2 pitches, 2 outs, and we'll see if Mr. Zabel will take a pitch. He will take that first pitch upstairs for a ball 1 either way, but don't want to give pitchers too many 3-pitch innings. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one's upstairs, and it's now 2-0. Here's the 2-0 to Zabel. He'll foul that one out of play, and it's now 2-1. And back in high school, and had the other team go 2 outs on 2 pitches, and head coach looks down at the batter. There's a strike, now 2-2. Good friend Sean Hadler said, take a pitch. And what did he do? He swung and popped it up the center fielder and gave the pitcher a 3-pitch inning. And it was no take sign. It was just looking down and saying, hey, take the first pitch. Nope, it was too good of a pitch to take. He swung at it and ended up giving a 3-pitch inning to the opposing pitcher. Zabel will draw a 2-out walk to extend the inning to Grayson Hunsley. And there's 1 on and 2 away now here in the top of the second. And it brings up Grayson Hunsley, again, who walked in his first trip to the plate. He came around to score. Or at least his position came around to score. On Brewer's ball back up the middle, ended up being an air charge to the shortstop and Reese. Here's the first pitch. That's popped up right side. It's going to be a tough play out there in right field, and unable to see it was the right fielder, Stroh. It drops in. Zabel will round third. He will come in to score, and it'll be another air charge out to the Washington Warriors. Zabel scores, and it's now a 7-0 lead for the Governors. And so for the Governors, they got that extra point in. And a ball that was up in the air for a while, but Stroh had a hard time finding it and could not come away with the catch. So there's now a runner on second. Yeah, that's Spencer Easlin out there in second base running for Hunsley, but Matthew Brewer now at the plate. And there's a ground ball. That's down the third base line, and that is fair. Matthew Brewer has made an 8-0 lead for the Governors. He rounds first on his way to second. He's got a stand-up double. And the Governors have got 2 runs here at the top of the second. They now lead it 8-0 with 2 away here in the top of the second inning. And Cade Kaiser, who's 1 for 1 with an inside the park home run, will come to the plate. That'll be the second RBI of the game for Matthew Brewer. Here's the first pitch to Kaiser. That's fouled off the mask of the catcher in Olson. And it's 0-1. So another 2 runs have scored. They've taken advantage, 2 unearned runs in this second inning for the Governors. There's a swing and a miss by Kaiser, and it's now 0-2. A much better start to this ball game for Pierre. Crooked number in the first, and now a crooked number still here in the second. 0-2 pitch is upstairs as Kaiser leads that one going. It's now 1-2. On deck is George Stolle. 1-2 pitch. Kaiser pokes at it. That's up in the air. That should probably land fair if it's got enough, and it does. So the wind will make it land fair. There's a double for Cade Kaiser, and the lead's now 9-0. On a ball that was routinely hit in foul territory, that wind carried it back inside the line and down the right field line. Lands fair, and an RBI double for Cade Kaiser. He is now 2 for 2 with 3 RBIs. And George Stolle now will come to the plate, with the Governors now up 9-0. First pitch to Stolle is upstairs inside for ball 1. So Kaiser with 2 extra base hits, and inside the Parker, and a double. When again, the wind finally helping out the Governors a little bit. Took 4 games for that to finally happen here this weekend. And the count's now 1-1 here to Stolle as that caught the outside corner. 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss by Stolle, and the count's now 1-2. Brecken Kruger, the number 9 hitter in the order. He is on deck. Would be the 8th man to come to the plate in the inning. 1-2 pitch. Popped up. That's in foul territory. It's going to come back towards the first base line and unable to be caught by either the first baseman or the catcher. dropped in no man's land between the two. So the count remains at 1-2. As Kaiser will lead away from second. Stolle, who struck out swinging his first at bat, looking for his first hit here in game number 2. Be the third hit of the ball game, third hit of the day. Here's a ground ball that gets past the pitcher. That one will probably be an infield single for Stolle. That would have been a tough play for the pitcher and Dosher to make, even if he made it cleanly. And also for the bare hand of Ronkin, there's no way that's an error on him. So it'll be an infield single for Stolle. And the speed that he has made that, probably would have beat it out either way. So the count, so it's now first and third with 2 down here at the top of the second. Number 9 man, Brecken Kruger. As Stolle steals, looking to go to second. It's a ground ball off the second baseman's hand. The throw to first is just in time to retire Brecken Kruger. As Muckow was able to make the play, and there's now, that will end the inning. After 8 men come to the plate, another 3-run score for the Governors. They had 3 hits in total in the inning, 1 error, and 2 men left on base. We have played an inning and a half, and the Pierre Governors lead at 9-0 over the Washington Warriors. Back in a minute, you're listening to Pierre Governor Baseball on KCCR and watching on YouTube at KCCR Sports.
This is the life. Sitting here, sipping lemonade, basking in the warm sun, and admiring the beauty and the solitude of my very own landscaped backyard. You know, I wasn't sure, but I was so glad when I made the call to Andy at Dakota Sprinkler and Landscaping to finally have the work done. Calling Dakota Sprinkler and Landscaping was probably one of the best and the easiest decisions I've ever made.
Dakota Sprinkler and Landscaping, 280-4440. That's 280-4440.
Wagner Auto Company is your complete transportation headquarters. You'll find a great selection of quality new Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, and Jeep vehicles, plus a great selection of quality pre-owned and certified pre-owned vehicles. They'll take good care of you after the sale with a full-service parts and body shop, along with a friendly financing team that'll do their best to get you into your next new or pre-owned vehicle with financing that fits your budget. Wagner Auto is your local, family-owned, full-service dealership in Pierre. WagnerAuto.com. That's WagnerAuto.com.
As we welcome you back here, bottom of the second inning, the Pierre Governors lead it to 9-0 now here, as it will be 5, 6, and 7. As Miles Reese, Jacob Muckow, and Aidan Doyle. Here is the first pitch from Jackson Edmond. One misses just a bit inside, upstairs for ball 1. Reese in game 1 went 1 for 2. Even though he got to the plate 5 times, he had tripled and struck out, walked twice, and also was hit by a pitch. He had 2 RBIs in the win. A lot of runs that were scored in that first game. It was 24-13, the win for the Washington Warriors in game 1. Here's a 2-0 pitch now to Reese. Swing and a miss. It's now 2-1. Governors lead at 9-0 here in the bottom of the second. Looking to split the doubleheader. 2-1 pitch. Check swing, but he did not hold it up. Home plate umpire says he swung all the way through, so the count is now 2-2. And Edmond looking to retire Reese. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Third strikeout of the ball game now for Edmond. 1 down to open up the bottom of the second. And it brings up Jacob Muckow, the second baseman. One down here in the bottom of the second. Nobody on. 9-0 lead. First pitch from Edmond. Muckow is upstairs for ball 1. Big, tall left-hander for the Governors. He might be exactly what the doctor ordered for this Pierre team to try and stop this 6-game losing streak. He has been at least in the first inning and a third with 3 strikeouts. An error, 3 strikeouts, and a flyout so far in the first 5 men that have faced him. 1-1 pitch, swing and a miss, and is now 1-2. Muckow's down in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Edmond works from the stretch, even with nobody on base. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That one's fouled over out in the right field. Stayed in play, but it goes down as a foul. Remains at 1-2. 9 runs on 6 hits so far for the Governors. Here's the 1-2 pitch to McCall. There's a line shot to Hanson. That one took a high hop as he turned the body away from it. Ends up being a base hit. And McCall is on for the first man to reach base here in the bottom of the second. 1 on and 1 out. And it brings up Aidan Doyle, the left fielder. Doyle in game number 1 went 2 for 4. Hit by a pitch, 2 singles, struck out, and also popped out in foul territory. First pitch is missed for ball 1. Runner on first. McCall leads away. Pickoff attempt and back in standing up. As the throw from Edmond to Nedved pulled them off the bag, but he was able to make the grab. Here's the 1-0 now from Edmond to Doyle. A long hesitation there from the lifting the leg up for the left-hander, and the count is now 1-1. Again, with the option of staying on the rubber and stepping to first base for a pickoff, you can not necessarily deceive the runner, but as he takes off for second to throw to second off the glove of Hanson. As the count is now 1-2. And a stolen base for McCall. And the count is 1-2 now to Doyle. Edmond comes set from the stretch. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Runner takes off, started to take off for third. Will stop halfway there and make his way back to second base. The count's now 2-2 as the pitch missed low. On deck is Bryson Top. Here's a 2-2. Inside, and it's now 3-2. As Edmond not looking to walk his first man yet in this ball game. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Ground ball left side. Knowles comes up on him. He fields a throw to first. Picked up by Nedved. Good scoop over there at first. Retires Aidan Doyle. And a good throw, strong throw from Knowles. After it didn't give him the best top coming off the infield grass. Was able to recover and still get the out at first, and a good scoop over at first base by Nedved. And there's now 2 away with a runner on third base again for the Washington Warriors. And Bryson Top trying to bring him in. There's a ground ball left side over for Kaiser at third. Strong throw across the diamond. Will retire the side, and the man is stranded over at third base. No rounds, 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left. 2 innings complete. The Governors have a 9-0 lead over the Washington Warriors. You're listening to Pierre Governor Baseball on KCCR, and you're watching it on YouTube at KCCR Sports.
A total technology solutions provider. Comtech is technology to work for you, not against you. Stop into Comtech to see our selection of TVs, home audio systems, computers, and security systems. They have brand names like Samsung, Bose, Sonos, and Lenovo, just to name a few. Comtech has what you're looking for in technology. Stop in at 1601 Lowell Avenue in Pierre or visit their website at comtechplus.com. Comtech, your trusted technology solutions provider.
Dr. Nick and Chelsea Redeman at Floss Dentistry in Pierre is family owned and operated. They have modern practice with skill and caring staff. They have same-day availability. Floss Dentistry is located at 603 East Sioux Avenue in Pierre with hours Monday through Thursday from 8 to 5. Give them a call at 605-224-2161 and don't put off that scheduled cleaning any longer. Floss Dentistry, 603 East Sioux Avenue in Pierre. or give Dr. Nick and Chelsea Renneman a call at 605-224-2161. So we have a new pitcher on the mound for the Washington Warriors, as it will be Aidan Doyle now on the mound for Washington, as he will come in from left field. The DH Glovich will enter the ball game to play first base. Fitzsimmons goes from first to center field, and then from center field to left will be Bryson Top as we head to the top of the third inning. And Glovich, when he comes in, erases the DH, and it becomes, like I said in the game one, it becomes a historic National League lineup. No longer an actual National League lineup. The DH coming in place. As Lincoln Keenels will lead things off, it'll be the top of the order for the Governors. Keenels 0 for 2 so far. But the Governors have a 9-0 advantage here in the top of the third inning. As Aidan Doyle, the opportunity to throw here for the Washington Warriors. Dosher went just that 2 innings. He actually threw in both the Tuesday and Thursday's games, and hitting a third in both of those 2 games. As the first pitch is outside for ball 1 to Lincoln Keenels. Is the top of the third here in game number 2 of our doubleheader. The 1-0 pitch. That one will miss low, and it's now 2-0. Coming up here on KCCR later on this evening, we might even take you right into coverage. We'll have the NBA that starts at 6 o'clock for game 3 between Boston and Brooklyn. The Celtics leading 2-0 in that series. The count's 3-0 here to Lincoln Keenels. The 3-0 pitch comes inside and a 4-pitch walk to open things up here in the top of the third inning. And it will bring up number 2 hitter in Matt Hanson. Hanson is 0 for 1. Trying to bunt his way on to open up the top of the second. Was retired. He did walk in the top of the first and came around to score the game's first run. Here's the first pitch to Hanson. Right back up the middle and through the box for a base hit. Keenels will round second. He's on his way to third. He didn't stop. He's standing up at third base. And then the throw got away from the shortstop and Reese, allowing Hanson to make his way to second. And it's now second and third with nobody out here in the top of the third inning. And it'll be a single and then an error. Charge the center fielder in Fitzsimmons. And Nedved now coming to the plate. Nedved's 1 for 2. Singled and scored in the first. Popped out in foul territory, the first baseman in the second. The Governors' damage in the second inning with those 3 runs all came with 2 outs, as the first 2 men retired on the first 2 pitches. Then Jet Zabel drew a walk and an error, allowed a run to score, then back-to-back RBI doubles. And now Nedved will sky this out to center field. Fitzsimmons comes in. He's able to make the catch. Both runners will tag. Hanson will end up at third base. Keenels will come in to score. An RBI sac fly for Gary Nedved, and the Governors have opened up a 10-0 lead here in the top of the third inning. As now Jet Zabel. Zabel so far, he is 1 for 1. A single and an RBI in the first. And again, he drew that walk in the second with 2 outs to allow the inning to continue. Hanson now at third base. Both runners are able to move up 90 feet on that sac fly from Nedved. With Hanson at third, Zabel will take ball 2. That one scooted away from the catcher in Olsen, but not far enough for Hanson to try and score. The count is now 2-0. 7 hits in the ball game for the Governors. 10 runs so far here in the playing the top of the third with 1 away. Zabel fouled that one away down the left field line. And the count is now 2-1. Zabel's got the opportunity and has the ability to go the other way. A lot of lefty swings, and a lot of times you play a right-hander straight up and start to hook a little bit for a left-handed hitter. 2-1 pitch is outside, is now 3-1. So here's now the 3-1 pitch from Doyle to Zabel. He'll go the other way out to left field. That will bloop in for a base hit. Zabel is now 2 for 2, and he's got his second RBI. And the Governors now lead it 11-0. As Hanson jogged his way in. And Zabel makes me sound pretty good, and like I know what I'm talking about up here when he goes the other way into left field for a base hit. And now here's Grayson Hunsley. He reached on an error in his last trip to the plate. Swings and fouls the first pitch away. It is 0-1. And coverage starts at 6 o'clock for Boston and Brooklyn in Game 3. As Hunsley will foul that one away, and it's now 0-2. Of course, it will be after Pierre Governor Baseball if we're not quite off the air yet by 6 o'clock. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Hunsley will take it for strike 3 on the outside edge. And there's now 2 down. And it will bring up Matthew Brewer, who is 1 for 2. He reached on an error. He was going to drive in that run regardless. Both runs scored on the air, and then he doubled home a run in the second inning. First pitch is upstairs as Brewer ducks underneath it. And it's 1-0. Cade Kaiser would be on deck. He is 2 for 2 with 2 extra base hits and 3 RBIs. Here's the 1-0. And Brewer skies this one up in the air. And this wind is going to take it into fair territory. It goes off the glove. And then Zabel, that ball will get away out to the left field. Zabel will start to make his way to third. Well, you got to almost count that as a hit. It's hard to put an error on anything like that on the infield as it was. I mean, I know the Washington coach is probably saying the play is going to be made, but that wind creating so much havoc that Ronkin couldn't make the play over at third. Then he flipped to the shortstop, Reese, as Zabel was making his way over to third base. He turned back to second, and the ball ended up going to left field, but Zabel didn't end up going to third base. Didn't see it in time. So now here is Cade Kaiser with runners at first and second, 2 away, and it's a 1-0 count. Looking for his third extra base hit. The 1-0 pitch is outside. It's now 2-0. He's got 2 legs done of the cycle right now. Run a little bit harder in the home run than inside the Parker. But he does have a double. Triple and single away from the cycle. Here's a 2-0 pitch. That is upstairs. It is now 3-0. On deck is George Stolle. Here's the 3-0 pitch. That one is missing low on the curveball that dropped below the zone. And the bases are now loaded for George Stolle. So now the left fielder, Stolle, who is 1 for 2. With a single in the second inning. First pitch is on the inside edge, taken for strike 1. He's got an opportunity to extend this 11-0 lead. The 0-1 pitch upstairs is now 1-1. Bases loaded here at the top of the third. 11-0 lead for the Governors. Another 2 runs have scored here in this third inning. 1-1 pitch. A ball in the dirt. Blocked up, though, by the catcher, Olsen. And the count is now 2-1. And from the stretch, here's the 2-1 pitch. That is on the outside edge and taken for a strike, and the count is now 2-2 to Stolle. 2-2 pitch. Stolle rips it into left field. That's down for a base hit. 1 run will score. They're going to send home the other run. Brewer's going to come in. The throw to the plate, sliding in safely. is going to be Brewer, and there's a 2 RBI single for Stolle. Both runners move up on the throw to second and third. And it's a Baker's dozen lead now for the Governors, 13-0. And Breckenkruger to the plate. Kaiser on at third. George Stolle at second. He's now 2 for 3 with 2 singles. 2 RBIs on that base hit for Stolle. And now Breckenkruger. The pitch comes upstairs for ball 1. Kruger reached on an error in the first inning and also grounded out to end the second inning. The 9th man to come to the plate. Swings and misses, and it's now 1-1 to Breckenkruger. So a 13-0 lead here in the top of the third inning for the Governors. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That is outside, and it's now 2-1. Here to the Governor center fielder. Here's a 2-1 pitch. That one hits Kruger, and it loads up the bases. And it brings up Lincoln Keenels. So the second time now the Governors in 3 innings have batted around. As Keenels, who drew a walk to open up the third inning, came around to score. Well, now the base is loaded. He hit a home run in game number 1, a 3-run shot, which gave the Governors a 5-2 lead in their 24-13 loss. Keenel swings at the first pitch, grounds that one foul. And Badger went almost tumbling after it. Try to make that play. Here's the going to be an 0-1 pitch now from Doyle to Keenels. Comes upstairs and inside, and the count is now 1-1. Bases loaded here with 2 away. 1-1 pitch. Popped up. This one's going to be tough, too. Nobody's going to be coming in. They're going to make a long run for it, but it drops in. 2 more runs will come in to score on a 2 RBI single for Lincoln Keenels. Now runners are the corners with 2 away, and it's a 15-0 lead for the Governors. Right fielder in Stroh had the best opportunity for it, but he didn't see it cleanly. I don't think he still would have got to it anyway. So it lands in for a base hit as Matt Hanson takes ball 1, who singled. Ended up getting to second on the throwing error from the center fielder. That was a ball in the dirt. Keenels will take second base as it counts now 2-0. So runners are at second and third again. A base hit can make it a 17-0 lead for the Governors. Here's the 2-0 pitch. There's a strike taken, a good off-speed pitch, good curveball there from Doyle. And it's now 2-1. And for the Governors, while this game is starting to really stretch out, still going to take every at-bat seriously for the Governors, as it's now 3-1. Can't mail any in. Because you're up in this game, you got a lot of work in front of you the rest of the season. But it's something to build off of and not to create any bad habits. 3-1 pitch. That one's bouncing in. It'll be a walk, and the bases once again will be loaded for now Gary Nedved to come to the plate. 12th man to the plate here in this top of the third inning. 6 runs have scored again for the Governors. They've scored 6 in the first and 6 in the third. There's the first pitch to Nedved. Ground ball right back up the middle. Reese will field the throw across. It's going to not be in time. The ball got away. 2 more runs will come in to score. Nedved will stop and stay at first base. And it'll be a single and an error charge to the shortstop and Reese. So Nedved will get an RBI. But with the second run coming in to score, he'll be charged with an error. So now here's Jet Zabel with runners at first and third and 2 away. First pitch is taken for strike 1. So now a 17-0 lead for the Governors here at the top of the third inning. Here's the 0-1. Zabel will skate out towards center field coming in. Fitzsimmons can't make the catch. It eats him up as it bounces high up. And the right fielder, Stroh, couldn't handle it cleanly. Nedved will stop at third as the lead is now 18-0. It'll be a double for Zabel. And an RBI as well for Zabel. He's now 3 for 3 in the ball game. And it's still second and third, with 2 runs scoring to make it 19-0. Now here is Grayson Hunsley. He'll pop the first pitch up. It will get its way out of play for strike 1. Well, the Govs have scored 10 times now here in the top of the third. Hunsley in this inning is 0 for 1. He struck out looking. Governors, there's a base hit for Hunsley over the third baseman's head. A jumping attempt from Rockin. Couldn't come away with it. Hunsley with an RBI single to make it 20-0 here now for the Governors. And we'll bring up now Matthew Brewer. Brewer singled earlier in the inning, as he'll swing and miss at the first pitch. So it is now Kaiser and Kruger, the 2 guys that don't have a hit in this inning. As Keenels was walked and he singled later on in the inning. There's a ground ball. Throw from Ronkin. That's going to get to wide of the first baseman. Brewer will stay at first base. They will hold up Eason over at third. And it's now 21-0. There'll be an air charge to Ronkin, who had to hurry on the throw. And he got just wide of the first baseman, Glovich. So now brings up Cade Kaiser, who walked earlier in the inning. He's 2 for 2 with 2 RBI inside the park home run, an RBI double. And it's first and third. The first pitch taken for strike 1. A pitch off the foot of Kaiser, and the count's now 0-2. So here is the 0-2 pitch outside, and it's now 1-2. There's now a 2-2 count. I think it actually might be 20-0. Might have got ahead of myself here. Yeah, it's actually 20-0, not 21-0. Only 11 runs have scored in this inning. Kaiser is hit by a pitch. Bases are now loaded. And it will bring up George Stolley, who has got an 2 RBI single. And we'll have a mound visit, and we'll see if that'll end the afternoon for Doyle trying to get out of this top of the third inning. You are listening to KCCR Pierre, a Riverfront broadcasting station. Bases are loaded. The Governors lead at 20-0 here at the top of the third inning. They scored 6 in the first, 3 in the second, and 11 here in the third, and lead at 20-0. And George Stolley in for his second plate appearance here of the third inning. Governors are about to bat around twice. Brecken Kruger would be the 18th man to come to the plate in this inning. Here's the first pitch. Stolle will sky it out towards left field. That one's going to go back and over the head of the left fielder. 2 runs will come in to score. Rounding third is Kaiser. A bases clearing at double for George Stolle. He's got 5 RBIs in the ball game now, and the Governors now lead at 23-0. As Kaiser came all the way around from first base to score. And Stolle is 3 for 4 with 5 runs driven in the ball game. And here's Brecken Kruger. First pitch is taking outside edge for strike 1. Kruger was hit by a pitch in his first trip here in the 3rd inning. He is 0 for 2 so far. That one misses low, and it's now 1-1. Governors have now scored 11 runs with 2 outs in the inning. That one will be fouled out of play. It's now 1-2. Here's a 1-2 pitch. That one will bounce in, get to the backstop. The third base will be Stolle. And with the lead at 23-0, Stolle will, if the ball would get to the backstop, he should not attempt to score. Count is 2-2 here to Brecken Kruger. 18th man to come to the plate. 2-2 pitch. That one's popped foul and out of play. So now the Governors, without anything being said on the other side, still have to get the 5 innings in. It'll be a grounded foul. We'll do it again here at 2-2. But for Jackson Edmond, has to continue to throw the ball well. 2-2 pitch. Upstairs is now 3-2. What has been a strong game here for the Governors. 6 in the first, 3 in the second, now 14 here in the third. A ground ball past the third base side foul. So a 3-2 pitch again upcoming here to Brecken Kruger. And for all these guys that come to the plate, you don't want to mail it in, don't want to just be okay and not giving your best to get a base hit. There's a strike taken by Kruger, and that will be a strikeout, and that will end the inning. But a 14-run inning for the Pierre Governors have opened up a 23-0 lead over the Washington Warriors after 2.5. We step aside for a minute. We'll be back with more Pierre Governor baseball here on KCCR and on YouTube at KCCR Sports.
Insurance. We all need it to protect our homes, health, businesses, and belongings. But having adequate coverage is just the beginning. You also need the support of professionals who stand by your side to protect what's important to you. Fisher Rounds & Associates combines the coverage you want with the commitment you need. Fisher Rounds & Associates, at your service, at your side, with offices in Pierre, Mitchell, Watertown, Sioux Falls, and Rapid City.
BankWest Insurance has the expertise and resources to deliver personalized service and customized solutions. As an independent agency, we shop dozens of companies to get you the best coverage at the best price. As your trusted choice for insurance coverage, we promise to go the extra mile so you can rest assured your loved ones and your assets are protected. Contact your local agent to put BankWest Insurance to work for you.
Not a deposit, not FDIC insured, not insured by any federal agency, not guaranteed by any bank, may go down in value, equal opportunity provider.
As we head to the bottom of the third inning, the Washington Warriors will have 9-1-2. Wesley Stroh, Braden Olson, and Bryce Ronkin, as the lead is swelled up to 23-0 for the Pierre Governors, as they scored 14 runs on 9 hits, 3 errors, and 1 man left on base in that third inning. As Jackson Edmond will continue to pitch here in the bottom of the third. And Wesley Stroh, the number 9 hitter, his first trip to the plate. Well, the Governors have had it batted around 4 times in the order as Stroh comes to the plate for the first time in this game. Jackson Edmond with a big lead He's got to fill up the strike zone. First pitch swinging. Popped foul in foul territory and just over the head of Gary Nedved, and it lands for strike one. So it's been two games of opposites here. A 24-run outburst for the Washington Warriors in Game 1, winning 24-13. And as it stands right now, a 23-0 lead for the Pierre Governors here in Game number 2. That is a lot of runs scored between two games. There's a chopper back at the mound. Jackson Edmond will field. He'll underhand flip it to Nedved. Almost didn't have enough to get it there in time to retire Stroh, the leadoff man here at the bottom of the third inning. I mean, you look at how many runs have scored in this doubleheader, you can go 7-8 games without having that many runs. I mean, you can look at a busy day of yesterday across the state, and they probably don't have as many runs in all those games combined compared to these two. First pitch is over for strike one. He had 37 runs in Game 1. He had 60 runs in total so far in two games. It's a lot of runs crossing the plate. That one's outside. It's now 1-1. Bases have been put to use throughout this doubleheader. 1-1 pitch is outside, and it's now 2-1. Got 16 hits for Washington in Game 1, 11 for the Governors in Game 1. Pierre's got 15 hits so far here in Game number 2. That pitch misses low, and it's now 3-1 to Braden Olson, the leadoff man in the order. Just one hit so far for the Washington Warriors. One error for the Governors, and 6 errors for the Warriors. 3-1 pitch. That one's skied foul and out of play on the right side. And the count is now 3-2. We got started a little bit late in Game number 1, started at 1:25. But a 2-hour and 14-minute game in Game 1. Got to start at 4:05 in Game number 2. That one misses inside, and it's the first walk issued by Edmond here in the ball game. Third base runner now for the Washington Warriors. And Bryce Ronkin, who struck out swinging in his first at-bat, will step to the plate. Governors led 6-0 after the first inning, after the top of the first inning. And it was Olson that hit a dribbler back to the mound on the left side, so actually more down the third baseline. But Edmond came off the mound to field it, threw it high over Nedved for an error that got him to third base. But Edmond bared down and finished out the inning as the first pitch is upstairs, ducking underneath it was Ronkin. But Edmond was able to get Ronkin to strike out swinging, Fitzsimmons to strike out looking, and then Glovich popped out to the right field. As it counts now 2-0. And what could be different in that game if the Governors and Edmond don't find a way to finish with a 0 in that inning? 2-0 pitch, a swing and a miss, and it's now 2-1. Rockin' in Game number 1. He to reach base all 5 times, going 3 for 3 with 2 singles and a double. And also drew 2 walks. 2-1 pitch on the outside edge, and it's now 2-2. And from 2-0 now to 2-2 here with 1 out in the bottom of the third. 2-2 pitch upstairs, and it's now 3-2. Tristan Fitzsimmons is on deck for the Washington Warriors. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Missed for ball 4. Back-to-back walks issued by Edmond. And first and second now with 1 out. And here is Tristan Fitzsimmons, who is 0 for 1, struck out looking. Ryan Kruger will make his way out and talk with Jackson Edmond. With Spencer Kelly, looks like warming up out in the right field bullpen. for the Governors. So Edmond will deal now with the number 3 hitter in Tristan Fitzsimmons with 1 away and the runners at first and second. Washington has stranded a runner at third base in both the first and second inning. That one's popped up on the infield. There's nothing routine about it, but they will call an infield fly. Keno's made the catch either way. And there's now 2 away. That would be an interesting call. And obviously, backed up in the outfield grass, you can still call it an infield fly if it's I guess it has to be a relatively routine pop fly. And for this day, there's nothing really routine about any fly ball, but they did call the infield fly. As now it's Andrew Glovich with 2 away, and the first pitch misses low for ball 1. Glovich flew out to the right fielder Zabel in his first at-bat. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one's taken for a strike, and the count is even at a ball and 1 strike. A 23-0 lead here for Pierre in the the bottom of the 3rd inning. Here's a 1-1 pitch. That one's fouled back to the netting, and it's now 1-2. And Edmond looking for 3 shutout innings. Runners at first and second, 2 away. And here comes the 1-2 pitch from Edmond to Glovich. Comes inside. And it's now 2-2. And the deuces are wild here in the bottom of the 3rd with 2 on and 2 out. And a 2-2 pitch upcoming from the left-hander Jackson Edmond. He's looking for his 4th strikeout. That one's skied out to center field. Brecken Kruger comes in. He'll make the catch, and that will retire the side here in the 3rd inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. After 3 innings, the Pierre Governors lead at 23-0 over the Washington Warriors. You're listening to Pierre Governor Baseball on KCCR and on YouTube at KCCR Sports.
At the Y, we're more than a gym. We're a cause-driven, charitable organization nurturing the potential for youth, adult, and senior in our community. From advocacy to childcare, disease prevention to athletics, swim lessons to safe spaces, our mission ensures that everyone, regardless of their financial situation, can participate in the services that we offer at the Y. We invite you to stop in and check out our youth sports, summer camps, group exercise classes, swim lessons, and so much more. Discover your Y at the Milwaukee Family YMCA in Pierre, where we are for youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility.
Building a home. It's the biggest investment most of us make in a lifetime. Not to mention it's a decision that, well, you pretty much live with day and night. The quality of the workmanship stares back at you like a reflection. It also affects the value of your investment. Choosing the right contractor is critical. Kruger Contracting is that contractor. Call 222-2523. Quality workmanship and materials completed on time. Kruger Contracting. In a word, quality. Call 222-2523.
Top of the 4th inning. The Pierre Governors lead at 23-0 over the Washington Warriors. Top of the order is due up for the Governors. Lincoln Keenels, Matt Hanson, and Gary Nedved. Tommy Peterson is out in right field. And Wesley Stroh moved from right field to third base. Here's the first pitch to Keenels, missing for ball 1 as we open up the top of the 4th inning. Keenels so far, he is 1 for 3, with also drawing a walk. 5th plate appearance here as we open the top of the 4th. He batted twice in the 1st inning and also batted twice in the 3rd. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That one's inside, and it's now 3-0 to Keenels. Aidan Doyle still on the mound for the Warriors. He threw that 3rd inning as well. Here's the 3-0 pitch. That one will miss for ball 4. And a leadoff walk to open up the 4th inning. And we'll bring to the plate Matthew Hanson. Try and keep an eye on the Governor's bench. We'll see if even Jackson Edmonds, see if he comes out for the 4th inning. Or Spencer Kelly will take over for him. First pitch is fouled away by Hanson, and it's 0-1. Governors will be at home on Tuesday, the first time in 2022. They will take on the Huron Tigers. It's a JV varsity game. That one's flown out to center field as Fitzsimmons will make the catch. And there's one down here in the 4th inning. And it will bring up Gary Nedved. JV team plays at 5. The varsity will follow, which coverage will start around 6:40, probably closer to 7 o'clock. Here's the first pitch to Nedved. He'll fly that one out towards left field. Over and unable to make the catch as the left fielder in top. Heading to third is Keenels. He'll glide in safely. We'll give Gary Nedved a double. And the Governors have second and third with one away here in the top of the 4th inning. And it will bring up Jet Zabel. Zabel is 1 for 3 so far. He walked. He reached on air and also singled. First pitch is over for strike 1. Grayson Hunsley is on deck. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Zabel. That is upstairs and it's now 1-1. So Pierre still has the 4th here in the 5th as well. And have to get Washington out in the 4th and the 5th. There's a foul back, and it's now 1-2. But again, it's for Edmond, who was on the mound for 3 innings, got 3 shutout innings, allowing just 1 hit. He had 2 walks, 1 man reached on air, but a solid 3-inning outing if he comes out for the 4th. And they just want to throw strikes. You're not too worried about any base hits that might be given up. Go out and throw strikes, and if Spencer Kelly is the man that comes in to replace Edmond in the 4th, it's all about throwing strikes again. That one's popped up into the shortstop, Reese, to make the catch. 2 down now here in the top of the 4th. And it brings up Grayson Hunsley. So the catcher, Hunsley, he is 1 for 3. Zabel's actually 3 for 4 now. He was 3 for 3 in the game. Hunsley was 1 for 3, reaching on air, striking out, looking, and singling home a run. Ground ball up the middle. That's going to get through for a base hit. Nedved will around third. He will stop at third base as Keenels makes it 24-0 as he scores on the single from Hunsley. And now it's Matthew Brewer. And Hunsley is now 2 for 4 in the ball game, reaching base 4 times. Brewer, he comes in, been on base all 4 times, doubled and singled. He's also reached on 2 errors. Driven in 2 runs. The first pitch is taken high for ball 1. Lead is up to 24 here for Pierre. Here's the 1-0 pitch. There's a swing and a miss, and it's now 1-1. Brecken Kruger right now the lone Governor without a hit in this ball game, and the 9 that have come to the plate. There's a swing and a miss, and it's now 1-2. He's reached on air and also was hit by a pitch as Kruger. Everybody else with at least a hit. Brewer swings and misses and strikes out, and that will retire the side. 1 run does come in to score in the inning. On 2 hits, there were no errors, and 2 men left on base. We head to the bottom of the 4th as the Pierre Governors leading 24-0 over the Washington Warriors. You listen to Pierre Governor Baseball on KCCR and on YouTube at KCCR Sports.
The count may change with every pitch, but what doesn't change is God's love for you. Come join us at Faith Lutheran Church to hear about the God who blesses us with athletic skill, meaningful relationships, and the peace and comfort that comes from his Son Jesus. You can worship on Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. or on Sunday mornings at 8:30 or 11 a.m. Faith Lutheran Church is up the hill at 714 North Grand and happy to support our athletes, their families, and our community.
Looking for your next new or used car, truck, or SUV? Then go no further than the comfort of your own home. Shop online at lambmotor.com. On lambmotor.com, you'll find the vehicles Lambs has in stock. You can schedule a test drive or your vehicle's next tune-up, all online. New or used, shop for it all online, anywhere you are. Lamb Motor has the right vehicle for you. Lamb Motor in Oneida and online, lambmotor.com.
So it is going to be Spencer Kelly now on the mound for the Pierre Governors as he gets an opportunity to throw with a big lead in hand, as Kelly will deal with 5, 6, and 7 in the order. It'll be Reese, McCow, and Doyle as for Kelly so far on the season. This will be his third appearance, first time he's coming in relief. He is 1-0, 4 in the third innings pitched so far, 6 hits, 5 runs, all of them earned. He has 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, an 8.07 ERA, and a 1.84 whip. And Miles Reese will be the first man to greet him here in the bottom of the 4th inning, with the Pierre Governors leading 24-0. 6 in the first, 3 in the second, 14 in the third, and 1 in the fourth. And for Spencer Kelly, this is you got to throw strikes. Continue to throw strikes throughout this 4th inning. Make Washington put the ball in play. And there's a first pitch swinging out towards left field. Stolle comes in. He dives, but it ends up scooping it up. And it will be a base hit for Miles Reese. Called a trap and a leadoff single for Miles Reese. Here's Jacob McCow. McCow singled. This is the only other hit so far for the Washington Warriors. First pitch from Kelly. That one misses low and outside for ball 1. Kelly started game number 2 of the season against the Sturgis Scoopers, and he threw 9 pitches, had 2 strikeouts in the 9-strike first inning of his Pierre Governor debut. There's a swing and a miss. Good off speed there from Kelly, and it's now 1-1. End up being tagged for a couple of earned runs in that outing, even though he was relieved before any runs came across. There's a pitch that's high and outside, and it's now 2-1. Everybody's still the same here around the defensive order. Stolle out and left, who nearly made that great play. Kruger in center, Zabel in right, Kaiser at third, Keenels at short, Hanson at second, Nedved at first, and Hunsley behind the plate. The 2-1 pitch is taken at the top of the zone and is now 2-2 to McCow. Aidan Doyle is on deck. Here's the 2-2 pitch from Kelly to McCow. Off speed that was not offered at by McCow, as he was able to hold up in time. The count's now full at 3-2. Pierre in every inning of this doubleheader has scored at least 1 run. Here's the 3-2 pitch. There's a swing and a miss. There's a strikeout for Kelly. And 1 down here in the bottom of the 4th. And it will bring up Aidan Doyle, the now pitcher. Be followed by, I believe it's actually going to be, he'll be followed by Peterson. Here's the first pitch. That one will bounce in for ball 1. Good block there from Hunsley. And again, the Governors will be at home for the first time in 2022 when they host the Huron Tigers on Tuesday. Coverage will start around 6:40, or maybe closer to 7 o'clock as the count's 1-1. Huron Tigers have been the surprise team of the state right now. I would say it's pretty wide open. Roosevelt might be one of the teams to beat, but I think it's going to be a wide open state playoffs when it comes down to it. And there's not going to be a favorable bracket of the 4 pods in the 4 regions. I don't think there's going to be one region that's going to be more favorable than the other to be in. I don't think there's going to be one tougher to be in than the other. Here's a 2-1 pitch. There's a ground ball left side that's going to get through the hole for a base hit. And it's now first and second here with 1 away in the bottom of the 4th. We have a new man out at the plate. Thought maybe it was going to be Peterson that was coming to the plate, but he will hit for Bryson Top. And Brecken Jacobs will be the guy that will hit. Here's the first pitch. That one's flown out towards left field. Stolly comes in. He'll slide to make the catch. And a good job to retire the man. And there's now 2 down. And it'll bring up Wesley Stroh. The first pitch swing. It was maybe Tommy Pearson that didn't hit. Either way, there's 2 away. First and second here with the bottom of the 4th inning. Wesley Stroh, the number 9 hitter. Pops this one up. Shallow center field. That one's going to drop in for a base hit. Run will come in to score. The throw cut off by Nedved. Came over towards Nedved. As now runners at the corners, and it's 24-1 on the RBI single from Wesley Stroh. And it'll bring up Braden Olson, who's been on base both times. Reached on air in the first, walked in the third. And here at the bottom of the 4th, hits with runners at the corners and 2 away. The Governors leading by 23 right now, 24-1. First pitch is upstairs for ball 1. So Pierre will, closing in on ending their 6-game losing streak, pick up their 4th win of the season. There's a check swing, but call a strike anyway. It's now 1-1 here to Olson. It'll be 4-6 on the record for the Governors. And we'll have 16 straight home games. As that one skied out to left field, left center field. Kruger calls off Stolly. He'll make the catch, and that retires his side here in the bottom of the 4th inning. So 1 run scores in the inning on 3 hits. There were no errors and 2 men left on base. We head to the top of the 5th. The Pierre Governors, they lead at 24-1 over the Washington Warriors. You're listening to Pierre Governor Baseball on KCCR and on YouTube at KCCR Sports.
No one likes to have electrical problems, but when they happen, call Todd's Electric at 223-2518. With over 28 years of experience, Todd's Electric can handle any type of electrical problem, whether it's residential, commercial, or agricultural. Their knowledgeable staff knows and understands the importance of your home, business, or ag facility and are prepared to help. Call Todd's Electric at 223-2518. That's 223-2518. Todd's Electric, serving the Pierre and Fort Pierre areas. The line to power.
It takes hard work to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than just sports. It also goes for your financial goals. You work hard for your money. You deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. Your local Edward Jones financial advisor can help. If your investments aren't getting you closer to the win, visit edwardjones.com or stop by your local Pierre area Edward Jones office for a financial review. Edward Jones, making sense. Member SIPC.
It is the top of the fifth inning, and the Pierre Governors lead at 24-1, and it will be Tristan Fitzsimmons on the mound now as he swaps places with Aidan Doyle in center field. And it will be 7, 8, and 9 for the Governors. Cade Kaiser, George Stolle, and Brecken Kruger. Anybody reaches base, back to Lincoln Keenels. Make sure that actually Spencer Lettler he's got the bat right now in his hand. So Lettler will be the guy that will hit first, and then Stolle. We'll see if there's anybody else that will pinch hit here in the top of the fifth inning. With Lettler coming in, I might bring Kaiser back out to the field because right now we might move a couple guys around, but Lettler, obviously a left-handed thrower, not going to go play third base. So he'd have to reposition a lot of guys if Lettler goes and plays defense at the top of the fifth inning. But Spencer Lettler will be the leadoff man to hit for Cade Kaiser. Kaiser went to 2 for 2 with inside the park home run and a double, drove in 3 runs, and walked and was hit by a pitch in his 4 trips to the plate. So Spencer Lettler, the first man to greet Tristan Fitzsimmons. Lettler in game number 1 went 0 for 3 with an RBI ground out. And the first pitch is missed for ball 1. About 20 minutes away from coverage starting of the NBA between Brooklyn and Boston. Tip-offs at 6:30. Have it for you here on KCCR. Over for a strike, and it's now 1-1. And Golden State and Denver tomorrow. It starts coverage at 2 with tip-off at 2:30. And then Sunday Night Baseball between Milwaukee and Philly. That'll follow the NBA coverage. Count is 1-1 here to Spencer Lettler. And the 1-1 pitch. Lettler will skate out towards right center field. Moving over is Doyle, the center fielder. He will make the catch, and the leadoff man is retired to open up the top of the fifth inning. And brings up George Stolle. And Spencer Easland has moved on to the on-deck circle. So he will, or no, excuse me, that's Rounds that has moved on the on-deck circle. Trevor Rounds will hit next. First pitch is bouncing in for ball 1 to Stolle, who is at 3 for 4 with 5 RBIs in the ball game. He doubled home, or he singled home 2 runs, and then he doubled home 3 runs. He had 5 RBIs in the third inning alone. That misses outside, and it's now 2-0. Fitzsimmons retired the first man. Here's the 2-0 pitch to Stolle. He'll line that one down the left field line. That's down for a base hit. He's going to try and dig it out a double, and he will stand up at second base. 4 hits day. Not even a 4-hit day. 4-hit game for George Stolle. And that makes it a 6-hit day for George Stolle. And Trevor Rounds now to the plate as he will hit for Brecken Kruger. So Stolle had 2 doubles in game 1. He's got 2 doubles and 2 singles in game number 2. Have yourself an afternoon for George Stolle. Boy, going to find a spot for him in the lineup. 9 in and 9 out. If he's going to keep hitting like that. There's a swing and a miss by Trevor Rounds, and it's now 1-1. On deck, top of the order, which is Lincoln Keenels. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That one will bounce in, is now 2-1. So Pierre in the 5th inning will deal with Bryce Ronkin, Tristan Fitzsimmons, and Andrew Glovich, although I believe Ronkin is out of the ball game, so we'll see who's actually hitting in that spot. Might be Peterson in that spot. There's a pitch at the top of the zone. Is now 2-2 to Rounds. Here's the 2-2. That one missed low and is now 3-2. Rounds' first chance to swing the bat here this weekend. And so far, this is his first plate appearance of the season. There's a swing and a miss by Rounds, and there's a strikeout. And there's now 2 down here at the top of the 5th. And it brings up Lincoln Keenels. So for Keenels, he is still 1 for 3. Walked twice, a 2 RBI single in the 3rd inning. The ground out victim twice in the 1st inning. Here's the first pitch. That one will bounce in, and it's 1-0. And for Pierre, you got to feel like the Monkeys got off the back. Trying to pick up a win. Of course, they still got to get 3 outs, but a lot of cushion to do that. And that one's lined back up off the glove of the pitcher and Fitzsimmons, fielded by the second baseman and McCowan. That's a 1-4-3 put out for Lincoln Keenels to retire the side here in the top of the 5th inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. First time today that the Governors have failed to score, and they are up 24-1 going in the bottom of the 5th, 3 outs away from splitting the doubleheader with the Washington Warriors. You listen to Pierre Governor Baseball on KCCR and on YouTube at KCCR Sports.
When you're in the need for high-quality replacement auto parts, look no further than Zander Auto Parts and Machine Shop in Pierre. Zanders has been servicing the Pierre area for over 40 years. Their professional parts techs can get you the parts you need and get you back on the road. Stop by Zander Auto Parts and Machine Shop at 500 West Sioux in Pierre or call 224-9221. Zanders, your source for domestic and foreign auto parts and accessories.
Innovation. It's right here. Avera St. Mary's Hospital keeps care local for you and your family, offering comprehensive care that has earned 4 out of 5 stars by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services in hospital performance and safety. Avera St. Mary's world-class care is further supported by advanced technology, 2-way video e-consults, 3D mammography, and a state-of-the-art birthing center, so you and your family don't have to go anywhere else, because innovation lives right here in Pierre. Learn more at avera.org/news.
So we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Governors need just 3 outs to finish this one out as they lead it by 23 runs right now, 24-1, and it will be 2-3-4 for the Washington Warriors. I believe that's Peterson that will lead things off. Be followed by Fitzsimmons and then Glovich. And Spencer Kelly. Let's see. Cade Kaiser is back in at 3rd. Brecken Kruger is also back in at center, so the 2 pinch hitters, Kaiser and Kruger are both back in to field their positions here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Here's the first pitch from Spencer Kelly to Peterson. Comes inside, nearly gets him, but it's taken for ball 1. So Tommy Peterson gets the opportunity to hit. Wearing the white jersey. By playing the JV game prior to this. There's a ground ball left side. It'll be fielded by Keenels. A throw across the diamond. Then the leadoff man is retired to open up the bottom of the 5th inning. And that'll bring up Tristan Fitzsimmons.
Number 6, the pitcher, Tristan Fitzsimmons.
So now with 1 down here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Governors 2 outs away from getting the split. And a good offensive output for the Governors. Overall, a good offensive output today. They scored 37 runs in just 10 innings. Not too bad when you can almost average 4 runs an inning. But the bad thing is when you're averaging almost 4 runs an inning and you end up 1-1 in the day. Here's a 1-0 pitch. That one misses inside. It's now 2-0. A lot of batting averages are going to help out here this weekend, or at least in this doubleheader. ERAs not so much in games 1, 2, and 3 of the weekend. But Jackson Edmond went 3 shutout innings. Spencer Kelly allowed the 1 run in the 4th, and he's got a 2-1 count here with 1 out in the bottom of the 5th and nobody on base to Tristan Fitzsimmons. Here's a 2-1. That one's fouled at the plate, and umpire almost caught it after it bounced behind him. He put his hands up for a foul and ends up swatting the ball down the third base line. That would have been impressive. He made that catch almost Joe Mauer-esque of putting the glove out, looking one way, putting the glove out, and the ball bouncing back into his glove. Here's a 2-2 pitch to Fitzsimmons. Off speed, that breaking ball that's outside for ball 3, and the count is now 3-2. On deck is Andrew Glovich. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Fitzsimmons. Comes behind him, and it'll be a walk issued by Kelly. First walk that he has issued in the ball game. There's 1 on and 1 out, and here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And it will bring up Andrew Glovich, the DH. He is 0 for 2, flew out to the right fielder, and also flew out to the center fielder. The runner on first and 1 away in the bottom of the 5th inning. A 24-1 lead for the Pierre Governors. Swings that one first pitch and lines it over the third baseman, Kate Kaiser's head, for a base hit. He's now 1 for 3, and it's now first and second with 1 away. And it will bring up Miles Reese, the shortstop.
Number 2 is the shortstop, Miles Reese.
Reese is 1 for 2. Singled in the 4th, struck out swinging in the 2nd. And has an RBI opportunity here in the bottom of the 5th. First pitch from Kelly to Reese. That one will bounce in for ball 1. So far Kelly in the 2 innings allowing 1 run on 4 hits, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Here's the 1-0. That one is at the letters for strike 1. Jackson Edmond in his 3 innings, no runs, 1 hit. He had 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. That one comes in, taken for a strike, and is now 1-2. And Kelly is ahead 1-2 in the count with 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. From the stretch, here's the 1-2 pitch. Upstairs, and is now 2-2. Again, just 1 varsity game on Tuesday. Have a doubleheader on Friday against Harrisburg. As the season really starts to pick up with a lot of home games in a short amount of time the last month of the season. But now that the Governors, once they finish this one out here today, return back to the capital city and don't have to travel out of the capital city until the playoffs. There's a ground ball off the end of the bat, fielded by the second baseman Hanson. Flipped to second for 1, back to first, a double play to end the ball game. A 4-6-3 double play to finish it out. And a good turn from Hanson, a good flip from Hanson, good turn from Keenels. And it retires the side here in the 5th. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. And the Governors win it 24-1 in a game number 2 to earn the splits and end the 6-game losing streak, as they are now 4-6 on the year. As we'll step aside for a minute, come back to wrap this one up. You're listening to Pierre Governor Baseball on KCCR and watching it on YouTube at KCCR Sports.
At Shane's Pharmacy, your health care is important, and Shane wants to be the pharmacist to take care of you. Shane's Pharmacy will make sure your prescriptions are filled in a timely manner, they will answer your questions, and they will even deliver to your home or office. Call 223-9200. Shane's Pharmacy, the pharmacy you know and trust. The number again is 223-9200. Shane's Pharmacy in Fort Pierre, proud to support high school athletics.
Verdict Electric has a long history of doing electrical work the right way. Economical service, professional work, and customer satisfaction is why they can say that. Verdict Electric can do residential, farm, and commercial projects. Doesn't matter if they are charged with new construction or a remodel project, they get it conducted. Contact the staff at Verdict Electric at 224-8684. They can light a spark into your next project. Verdict Electric, 224-8684. As we welcome you back here, the Pierre Governors win it 24-1 over the Washington Warriors. And joining me is the assistant coach, Landon Badger. Oh, and Badger, this was a wild doubleheader, and a day that's finished out. Gosh, we started at 125 and finishes at 551. You scored 37 runs in 2 games, but you go 1-1. Offensively, there's probably not anything to complain about overall, but just not much better in game number 2, much better overall effort in game number 2.
Yeah, I'd say the one difference that we really had was our pitchers just went out and they just attacked. And they got ahead early, and they gave us a chance. And one thing Ryan and I were just talking about is it used to be where our hitters had to kind of get hot for our pitchers to do well. Right now it's starting to be where our pitchers have to do well so that our hitters get going. And that's what proved today. In the first game, we had a struggle again with getting the leadoff guy out, and it just leads to errors. It leads to base hits, scoring those guys. And obviously with a win like today, you hope you don't have to experience that again the rest of the year, but you got to be ready for it. And both teams are playing with the same situation, and I just really thought that the second game we stepped up with what we had, and Jackson did a phenomenal job just pounding the zone and giving ourselves a chance to have some zeros up on the board for once on the defensive side. And we did a way better job too, even with just our approach at the plate of being able to hit the ball up the middle and not just kind of look to the pull side just because the wind's blowing out that way.
And as quickly as you guys went up 6-0, the first batter, Jackson ended up airmailing the throw to first and allowing the guy to get to third base. And in a 6-game losing streak, a lot of times that can lead to a bad inning. And Jackson Edmond did a really good job of bearing down, getting the next 2 guys out, and then striking out the next 2 guys, and then getting the next guy to pop out. That leads to being a better team, being able to do something like that. And that's hats off to Jackson for making that happen.
Yeah, 100%. That was one of the things that we talked about between innings is when you have an error happen, it's really easy to be contagious and have more errors. And with that mistake, they went back and they just capitalized on each pitch, and they made sure that we still had a chance to keep that guy at third. And Jackson, again, just getting ahead early, puts the pressure on that batter up there, and they just kind of folded at that point, which was awesome for us.
So with a win like this and just a win in general, and maybe a win like this, did it kind of give everybody a chance to maybe exhale throughout the game and just say, okay, this is what the Pierre Governors can do. Obviously, you're probably not scoring 24 runs. You're probably not scoring 37 runs in 2 games. But just kind of give you an exhale and give you a little bit of a breath, 1 to get the win, 1 to score a lot of runs, or I guess 2 to score a lot of runs, and 3 just to finally just get rid of that losing streak.
Yeah, definitely. It's something that we never experienced with Pierre baseball is you don't normally ever have 6 games that you lose in a row. And for these guys to bounce back with the numbers that they just bounced back with, and again on the pitching side of it too, like there wasn't many mistakes, and that's the way that you're to answer to those things and get yourself out of that little slump. And hopefully this is something that just kind of gets us going and gets us rolling into the second half of the season, because now it's really competitive baseball. We've got a lot of games coming up this week, and we're going to need everyone that we can have be able to do whatever the job is, whether it's pinch running, hitting, or pitching.
And now going against Huron on Tuesday, it doesn't get any easier. Huron, typically in years past, maybe it was an easier game. Not the case anymore. Huron's played really well so far this season. What do you expect from them on Tuesday?
We know that they have a few arms that are really competitive, and so we're going to have to just keep working the next 24 hours that we get to be able to get ourselves focused and ready to go for that game. And even if that means that we have to get a little rest at some point, like we'll get a little rest, but we got to be ready for them, and we can't take them lightly, because we've shown what happens when we try to take anything a little bit lightly, and it affects us. So if we just go out and we capitalize like we did again today, and we get that first guy out, and we make sure that we throw a lot of strikes, we're going to have a good chance to win.
Well, Coach Badger, appreciate the time. It feels weird to say that, even though you've been a hockey coach for a little bit, you've been baseball, you've been a junior legion coach for a while too. But hey, appreciate the time. Congratulations on this second win, and it probably feels good to at least end on the good note. Even though the first 3 games didn't go the way, it probably feels better to end on the good note instead of starting on a good note and ending on a 3-game skid.
Absolutely.
So Landon Badger, the assistant coach, as the Governors win it to 24-1 here in game number 2 of the doubleheader, and they are now 4-6 in the season, and their 6-game losing streak comes to an end. Governors had 18 hits in game number 2, 5 hits for the Washington Warriors. They scored their lone run in the 4th inning. The Governors scored 6 in the 1st, 3 in the 2nd, 14 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th, and were held off the scoreboard in the 5th inning for the only time in 10 innings in the doubleheader. The only time that those 10 innings that they were held off the scoreboard, and that point didn't really matter, up by 23 runs. They had 1 error, and they left a total of, that would be 7 runners on base in that win. A total of 7 runners also left on base for the Washington Warriors. So a 24-1 win after a 24-13 loss. He scored 37 runs in 2 games, but still end up at 1-1. That's, I guess, you don't usually say that's about the game of baseball, but I guess sometimes it can be the game of baseball. Governors are now 4-6 in the season. They will take on the Huron Tigers coming up on a Tuesday, as we'll have that one for you, as the Govs will be facing Huron for a doubleheader. A doubleheader, which means a JV and a varsity doubleheader, which will be just the varsity game that we'll have on the air for you here on KCCR, starting at right around 7 o'clock. It's scheduled for a 7 o'clock first pitch, but the JV game starting at 5 o'clock will probably won't be able to allow us to get the going in at 7 o'clock on Tuesday. We'll have that one in the doubleheader on Friday against the Harrisburg Tigers, as the Governors will be looking maybe for 3 wins over this next week and to get that win streak up to 4 going. We have basketball coming up here in about 45 seconds, so I'll take you up there to the 6 o'clock hour. You're listening to KCCR Pierre, Riverfront Broadcasting Station. Make sure we get that legal ID in here. But the Brooklyn Nets and the Boston Celtics starting coverage here in about 30 seconds, as they'll have Game 3 with Boston leading 2-0. Boston leading 2-0 with Game 3 in Brooklyn. Final scores, 24-13 in Game number 1. The Pierre Governors, they fall in Game number 1. And then in Game number 2, the Governors come back and win 24-1 over the Washington Warriors to complete the doubleheader split over the day. Thanks again for listening. John Winkler here signing off. We send you out to Brooklyn for Boston and Brooklyn here on KCCR.